Hi guys, it's Kevin Al from Infinite Wealth. On today's episode, we're going to talk about our recent trip to Marival Distinct Residences. On this video today, we're going to talk about a trip we had to Marival Distinct Residences in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. First off, we're going to just go through some basic things about Puerto Vallarta if you've never been there before. And then next we'll go through a room tour. Then we'll look at some of your restaurant choices and some of the food options that you do have there. First of all, the question people ask a lot, is it safe to go to Mexico? We've been to Puerto Vallarta 15 times about. That is the only place in Mexico that we do take our children. We feel it is safe there, and we feel safe taking our children there with us. My wife and I will also go to Cancun area, but we usually do that just as a couples trip. Just some general advice about Puerto Vallarta. You don't want to go out at night alone. If you do want to go to one of the clubs, I would suggest going with the group from your resort. A lot of times they'll have paid trips that take you to the club. That way you know you're getting there and back safely, and you have the entertainment staff that's keeping an eye on you. And then the final thing is, generally you are safe, just make sure you're not doing anything illegal. We've taken taxis down to downtown Puerto Vallarta. We walked around there with the family. They have sculptures and a boardwalk by the ocean. It's very beautiful. Just be aware that some vendors will come up and ask you to buy things or come eat at their restaurant. Just say no gracias and keep walking. They do generally leave you alone as long as you're firm on that. If you do want something, go in and then generally negotiate. We're not huge negotiators, but half of what they first offer you is generally where you start. So if this is your first time flying into Puerto Vallarta, you'll fly into the airport. Just keep in mind that this isn't as modern as some of the American airports you're used to, so it is kind of third worldy. They have remodeled it some in the last 5 years. It is a lot nicer than it used to be, but just be prepared. It's not what you're used to at home. After your plane lands, you will go through the customs. You'll get the forms on the plane, just fill those out. After you go through customs, you'll go into security. You'll have your passport out, you'll hit a button, it'll either turn red or green. I'm not sure if it's just based on your passport number or totally random, but the first 3 or 4 times we went to Puerto Vallarta, they searched our bags thoroughly each time. So every time we pushed the button, it would be red. And especially when we had the kids, don't be alarmed. They will take all your stuff out of your bag, go through it. They did take my kids' blankets and their stuffed animals, look through them for anything illegal. The whole process maybe takes an extra 15 minutes. So just be patient and do your best. They probably will not speak much English, but they'll just kind of direct you with what they want you to do. But just stand off to the side, let them go through your stuff, and then repack it, and then go on with your vacation. So after you've cleared security and you're into the country, you're going to go into a hallway that's going to be filled with people that are trying to sell you cab rides and excursions and other things like that. You just want to put your head down, walk straight for the front door, don't talk to them. If they come up to you, they'll kind of grab your arm, just say no gracias, keep walking, and just go right through there. If you're looking like you're a tourist and all that, that's how they sucker you in. So just make sure, just make a beeline for the front door. Now that you're out of the airport, now you do need to catch a cab to get to your destination. The first way that's the most expensive is if you just walk out onto the sidewalk, they'll grab you a cab. And just keep in mind that any cab ride that you get that's inside the fence of the airport, that price is set by the government, and it is the most expensive option. Now the first time that we did go to Puerto Vallarta, we did take a cab this way. It was about $70 with tip to get to our hotel, which is very expensive. So one of the mistakes we made there is we had dollars and not pesos. They give you a very poor exchange rate if you pay with dollars. And then secondly, that's just the most expensive way to get there. Now the second way to catch a cab would be to book a cab through the website that you booked your trip on. We go through Cheap Caribbean or Book It often. Cheap Caribbean uses Amstar, so you can book shared transport for $25 to $30 each person, and that'll be from the airport to your resort and then the return trip to the airport when your trip is over. That doesn't include tip, but that is kind of the middle ground. If you do shared transport, keep in mind you might have 10 to 12 people on your bus. They are very efficient at what they do, but depending on how far your resort is from the airport, you might stop at 3 or 4 resorts before your own. So this one does take the longest out of all the options, and you can figure about an hour to get from the airport to your resort. Now the final option is a little more adventurous, but as you walk out of the airport, when you go out the front doors, you take a left. Make sure you don't talk to anybody on the sidewalk. They'll try to grab you on the sidewalk also. Go to the end of the building, take a left, follow that sidewalk, and then you'll see a concrete overpass that goes out of the airport and across the street. So you just walk up across that, and then on the other side there will be a man there that's setting up cabs. Now these are just your regular cabs. So when we go to Marival, it usually costs about 250 pesos, which is about $12. So that's the cheapest option, and that's about what you'll pay to get back from the resort. So you can do your whole round trip with tip for somewhere around $30. The advantage to this is it gets you to a resort quicker. We've been there enough time. We usually get through security rather quickly, so once we leave the airport, within 35 minutes we're at the resort and checking in. The disadvantage is sometimes these people, they drive a little crazy. You won't be used to it, so they pass on shoulders and it is a wild ride, but that's part of your fun on your trip. Just another thing you want to keep in mind, the sun is very intense there, so just walking from the airport to the cab and getting to your hotel and getting inside the hotel, I've gotten sunburned before, so you want to keep that in mind. We usually put on sunscreen before we're even at the airport, so you're ready to go. Also, make sure you take plenty of sunscreen with you. It tends to be rather expensive at the resort, but you can buy a bottle of the no-ad sunscreen on Amazon for about 10 bucks. And one bottle is usually good for 2 people for 8 days. If it's your first time going to Puerto Vallarta, you don't want to be that person that's walking around the resort that's just sunburned and having a miserable time and sick and not having fun. So a lot of times when you fly in early, we usually get there between 12:45 and 1:15 is when the flights come in for us. By the time you grab the taxi and all that, we're there between 1:30 and 2. Technical check-ins at 3, but in general, the rooms are not ready till 4 or 5. So when you get there, if your room is not ready, you want to keep one bag that has all your valuables, your money, your passports, all that with you. The hotel will hang on to the rest of your bags until your room is ready. At that point, if you don't have your swimsuit and all that, you probably want to find an air-conditioned place to eat some lunch, have some drinks, and just wait for your room to get ready. Otherwise, if you have your swimsuit accessible, you can change out of that, head to the pool, head to the beach, and start your vacation there. We generally like to just go to the air condition, get a nice lunch, have a few drinks, just kind of relax, get the lay of the land. Now once you arrive at the resort, probably the most friendly, nicest person to you, that's more than likely going to be the timeshare salesman. They try to be really nice to you, talk to you. They want to give you a resort tour. They want to be very helpful. Just keep in mind their ultimate goal is they want to sell you a timeshare. And from what I've heard, they're very tough sells if you do go to one of the meetings. So my wife and I generally avoid them. Sometimes you have to get a little bit nasty with them and just say, you're hungry, not interested, we'll come see you later. And they usually leave you alone. In my experience, as long as you avoid them on the first day, they don't bother you much the rest of the week. So now you've got settled in, you're in your room, now you're ready to start your vacation. So at this point we'll break off and we'll go to the video I shot of the room tour, and then after that we'll go into some of the different food options that they do have there. Hi guys, it's Kevin Alf. We're at the Marival Residences. I'm going to give you a tour of our penthouse, which is room 624. Now all of the rooms here are basically the same. If you're in one of the regular residences, it's going to have the same basic layout, but the penthouse will have a second floor with some extras. We'll go through that in a little bit when we get up there. Okay, so when you first come in, you walk into the main room, your kitchen on the right, dining room, living room, then the first bathroom is on your left. So if you go into the bathroom, it is a pretty standard bathroom, sink, toilet, shower. And then the super nice thing about the residences is in this bathroom, you have a washer and a dryer. So if you have not been to Puerto Vallarta before, it is extremely humid. It can take 2 or 3 days for your swimsuits to dry, even sitting out on the balcony in the sun. So that is nice. So when you're getting ready to pack up to go home, throw them in the dryer. You could wash clothes if you want, so you don't have to bring so many clothes on your trip, whatever you would like. When you first walk in, you have a kitchen. We're on the all-inclusive plan, so the refrigerator is stocked. It's got water, some sodas, beer. We have coronitas. They did say when we checked in that you could call and get that changed out for Pacifico or Modelo, whichever one you would like. We like the coronitas, so that is fine with us. Then you have basic coffee maker. You do have a microwave. You have a dishwasher. In the cabinets, you have all your different pots and pans. You have a stovetop, and you do have a small oven. We were here for our anniversary, so we got an anniversary package that was included with our trip. So we got some chocolate covered strawberries and a bottle of champagne. And also the day we got here, they gave us a bottle of wine that we haven't drank yet. So then this is part of the dining room. So it's all pretty nicely decorated. When the air conditioner runs, the chandelier clinks together, so that's kind of annoying. So you do probably have to sleep with your bedroom door closed or turn the air conditioner off. There are no central air, 2 different units in your residence that are controlled by just a remote control. And then you have your basic living room. So you've got a pull-out couch, chair, TV. Then you come out onto the balcony. You have a couple of chairs on your balcony to sit in and a table. This resort is not directly on the ocean. It's like probably 200 feet back from the ocean. So if you're on the 3rd floor or below, I wouldn't think that you'd be able to see the ocean or see this view. So that is one of the advantages of paying a little more and getting the penthouse. Then as you look down from the balcony, you have the main pool area. Farther down is the kiddie pool, so there are kids at this resort. If you look straight down, that is the adults only hot tub right below. And then that pool is for the swim out residences. So the bottom floor is there, you have swim out, so you walk right out into your own infinity pool there. Up on very top in the middle is the Sky Lounge. Just give you a quick view of from the deck. Then you go into the bedroom, so just a basic bedroom. You've got a chair and a table, a second small TV, California king size bed, It's all pretty modern, pretty nicely decorated. And you have your closet. So you will have a ironing board. Safe, if you've never used a safe in one of these resorts, it's just a 4-digit code and then the pound sign will lock it. Then here you have just their basic 2 sinks, towels underneath. Toilet in a room. And then you have like the master bedroom shower, which is nice. So if you're traveling with somebody other than your spouse, there's not a lot of privacy here, but you could definitely use the other bathroom, shut the door, and that would give you some privacy. So that's the basics of just a residence, but this one is a penthouse. So here's kind of the kicker on the penthouse. We go up the stairs here. So you have a rooftop sun deck. So it is covered for some shade. You do have a table and chairs here. So if you order room service, you could eat your breakfast up here. It's very cool, very nice in the morning. You have a couple lounge chairs. You can slide them out into the sun. And then you do have your infinity pool on the rooftop. I would call it more of a plunge pool. It's probably 2.5 feet deep. And since it is on the roof, it is awfully warm. I'll climb up here, kind of show you the view from up here. It's even a little bit better. Then we'll climb up on this little bench. Then here's the back side of the resort. So you can't see this from the room, but that is the Sierra Madre Mountains. You're looking off towards Puerto Vallarta. We are in Nuevo Vallarta here. And then that is Banderas Bay. So I hope you enjoy this quick little video tour of the Marival residence. This one was a penthouse. If you have a regular one, it'll be just like the first floor. There weren't any great ones on YouTube, so that's why I'm posting this one. Normally on my channel I do investing and finance type videos, but this is just a little something different. A little lifestyle, a little travel, and all that comes with your wealth building too, so you get to enjoy life. Okay, next we're going to talk about the food. At the Marival Residences, you also have access to the sister resort, which is Marival Emotions. You can just jump on a golf cart and ride right down the street to it. I have stayed there before with the kids, and it's a family trip, and their food is good too. Most of the food at the Marival Emotions is on buffet, but they do have a Mai Tai restaurant at the beach for dinner. They have an Italian restaurant. And then they have a Brazilian restaurant also that's on the beach for dinner. Any one of those three would be okay to try. You do need reservations for them, so you would have to contact your concierge. They'd have to make reservations for it. And then I just do that on a night that maybe you wanted to go to the entertainment. There's no entertainment whatsoever at the Marival Residences. It's all at Marival Emotions. So you can just ride the golf cart over there, have dinner. They do have a bar where they have all the entertainment. Go see whatever show you want and then come back to your resort later. Just a quick thing about nightlife. This resort was pretty dead by 9:30, 10 o'clock every night. We went there kind of for a relaxing vacation, so that was fine for us. But if you're looking for a place to go that has a lot of nightlife and a lot of things to do at night, this probably isn't the resort for you. So the first picture here is a Parmesan salmon salad that we had. Um, Very good. All the food there was very good. So it's kind of gourmet style. There's no buffets. It's a la carte, with the exception of breakfast. There is a buffet every morning outside with the pool. You can either sit down in the a la carte restaurant and order the specific food that you want, or you do have the buffet that has most of the options. The first day we did sit in the restaurant, but it took a good hour and a half to get our breakfast, and we thought that was a little much. So the rest of the days on our trip, we did just go through the buffet. The food in the buffet was all excellent. It was freshly prepared, so we didn't see any difference. It's just a way to save time. Another tip, too, is if you are going to the beach, at 10 o'clock they start assigning the beach beds and all that for the people that aren't there on a timeshare. So that's just something else to keep in mind. So if you can get through your breakfast quick, be over there with the beach concierge by 9:30 or so. You should be lined up to get a nice spot on the beach. The next we have is a tuna dish. This is also very good. It's just kind of representative of kind of what the kind of dishes they have. You're at an all-inclusive resort that's got kind of gourmet type food. If you've never been to a place like this, try some new stuff. If you don't like it, they'll just make you something else. But this is your time to, be a little adventurous, try some new things. Maybe you'll find things that you like. I wouldn't normally eat something like this, but it was very good. This is also something I tried that I wouldn't normally eat. This was a confit duck with pears and a mashed potato. It was very good. Not something I normally eat back here, but yeah, when you're on an all-inclusive vacation, you definitely want to experiment, try some things like this. There was an old dead tree by the pool, and we wondered why they hadn't cut it down, but it has all these lights on it. So it's kind of right by the main entrance, but it's just a cool thing to see at night. This was a smoked salmon bagel sandwich. Again, very good, excellent. No complaints whatsoever about the breakfast. The green juice is very good, and as you see also, they're more than happy to bring you beer, tequila, whatever you'd like for breakfast. My wife had the chiquiles, also very good. Chips were not soggy at all, very well prepared. Nice spice to them, so they were good. This was the setup they gave us in our room. We did have our anniversary down there, so they gave us a bottle of wine upon our arrival. We booked through Cheap Caribbean. They had a free anniversary champagne and chocolate-covered strawberries, so we just went ahead and added that on to our trip. Next up, we have duck taquitos. This was probably one of the things I was most excited to eat there, and they did not disappoint. They were excellent. I had them at the restaurant, and then I also had them at the Sky Lounge because they had them as an appetizer there. I probably ate them 4 or 5 times while I was there. That, again, just very good. Something you wouldn't normally have, but just excellent. This is just another typical dish that you might find there. Just a white fish, but it was very good. They do have some different salads for appetizers. Sometimes the portions are a little small. You might want to ask the waiter. If you are pretty hungry, you might want to order 2. Try 2 different ones. That's not a problem there. They'll do anything you want. Just another picture of the same thing, but it was excellent. This was just another appetizer that my wife had. I believe these were caramelized pears. She said they were very good. They have theme nights every night at the restaurant. So this was just one of the Asian nights, but this was a shrimp pad thai. It was very good. Perfectly cooked, well seasoned, just all around just good. We were there on Asian night and they didn't have any sushi on the menu. So we did ask the waiter if they had any sushi. They didn't, but they did bring us out. This was a salmon sashimi. It was not on the menu, but they will go above and beyond. So anything you want, if they have it in the back. But the chef came out. He made this just special for us. This was probably the best thing we had on the whole trip. Had some limes in it, had jalapeno and soy sauce from what I could tell. But it was just salmon sashimi, and it was excellent. The desserts there are okay. If you haven't been to Mexico before, their desserts are not really what you're used to here. But I believe this was a pineapple type of dessert. It was pretty good. And then this was the only other dessert we had that was good. So it was a chocolate cake with a vanilla ice cream. This is why you want to get there early at 10 o'clock and tip the beach concierge well. We had this spot 3 or 4 times because I tipped him well the first time. But as you can see, we had 2 hammocks, we had 2 chairs. On the right, we had 2 Adriatic chairs. And then we also had a cabana with the 2 beds in it. The beds were pretty comfortable. The larger cabanas were pretty expensive. I think they were 10,000 pesos or about $200 a day to rent them. You do have waiter service at all of them. We noticed no difference in any of them. The larger cabanas, though, are for the timeshare people or the people they're trying to court to buy a timeshare. So if you do go to one of their talks, maybe they give you one of those for free. Maybe that's a perk if you want to deal with that on your vacation. So this is just a view from the bed. They'll come out and put some umbrellas to give you shade. They move them around during the day for you to always keep you in the shade. So you have the 2 beds, the 2 chairs, the 2 hammocks, and the Adriatics on the side. So it's an excellent setup, probably one of the best we've ever been at any resort we've been for the beach. We're generally pool people, but here the beach was so much better. We just hung out at the beach every day. They didn't have a whole big selection of top shelf liquor there. They did have more top shelf tequilas, which my wife enjoyed. I'm not really a tequila person. But for martinis, they had Absolute Mango for vodka. So Absolute Mango Martini. They were excellent. We did eventually drink all of the Absolute Mango they had on the entire resort. So then we had to go to some other drinks for the remaining part of our trip. And then this was at the beach restaurant for lunch. So this was just like a chicken tostada. I also had a salad, and this was pretty typical of what you'd get for a lunch salad there. But again, very good. Some avocado, cashews. My wife's a little less adventurous on vacation, so she just had fried chicken and mashed potatoes for lunch. But it was very good. The breading's a little different than you might be used to, but still very good. I usually try to stick to more of the seafood. So this was a red snapper with some vegetables and rice, but it was cooked perfectly and excellent. And then finally, the staff there, they get to know you if you're there for a week, clown around, joke around. They're a lot of fun. Just make sure you tip them, be nice to them, and you'll get excellent service. So that's our summary of the Marival Residences. This trip for the penthouse was all-inclusive for 2, was about $450 a day. Was it worth it? Yes, absolutely. Probably has the best beach of any resort we've been to in Puerto Vallarta. Has an infinity pool, a bar, a restaurant, and then all of the cabanas and all the seating on the beach was just top-notch. The food was very good. It was 4.5 star. We have stayed at Secrets Puerto Vallarta before. That costs you about $350 a night if you get a good deal on it. That's by far the best food we've had at any resort we've ever been in, and that one is a true 5-star. If you are going on a family trip, we've stayed at the Marival Emotions Resort. That one was about $300 a night total, all-inclusive for 4 of us. We did get a deal where we had 2 kids stay free. And at that resort, we had a 2-story, it was a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom villa, which was almost 2,000 square feet. So that's worth looking into with kids. You won't have as fancy beach chairs, you don't have pool service, the beach isn't as nice, and then most of your food is buffet. But for a kid trip, that is an awesome trip. The entertainment's there. They do have a large video arcade, pool tables, and things for the kids to do. So that is worth considering also. Other 2 resorts worth mentioning that we've been to is we did have a suite with the kids for a family trip at Sunset Plaza. We also got a kids stay free deal on that one. I think that's the best deal I've ever gotten down in Puerto Vallarta, including all-inclusive flights and everything is $250 a night there. That one was very good. It was a small boutique resort, so there wasn't a lot to do, but that was our first trip down there with the kids and it worked out very well. Another resort that's worth mentioning there, finally, if you're going on a family vacation, We stayed at Villa del Palmar Flamingos. We also had kids stay free there. That one ended up being about $300 a night, all inclusive. We had just a normal room. We didn't have a suite there. But that one by far had the best pool of any resort we've been at in Puerto Vallarta so far. Was it worth it, the $450 a night for the penthouse? I would say absolutely. There are other options there that are similar or just as good. But for us, this is a place we've always wanted to go, kind of a dream vacation. Especially when you've upgraded, you have the penthouse, you just feel like you're on a special trip. It did make it extra romantic for my wife and I. We're definitely going back there again. I want to say thank you for watching this long. I know this is a little bit longer video, but I kind of wanted to go through all the goods and the bads of going to Puerto Vallarta, and do you really get your money's worth? I would love it if you'd subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you get notifications. If you have a comment or a question, just leave it in the comment sections and I will answer that for you. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me.